The First Amendment grants citizens and non-Americans some of the most basic rights while they're in the country, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of the press. But during times of war, you may not be so free. During the Revolutionary War, loyalists were restricted from supporting the King of England, and some colonies even made it an act of treason to do so. After the ratification of the Constitution, the Sedition Act of 1798 made the writing, printing, uttering, or publishing of malicious content about the government illegal. President Abraham Lincoln censored messages coming to and from Washington, D.C. during the Civil War. The Chicago Times was shut down for its criticism of the president, and one politician faced imprisonment for an anti-war speech in which he called the president King Lincoln. As the U.S. entered World War I, Congress passed the Espionage Act of 1917, which criminalized obtaining or copying information related to national defense with the intent to injure the United States. This was followed by the Sedition Act of 1918, which was meant to address morale and growing disapproval of the war and the draft. The act made it illegal to incite disloyalty to the military, the government, and the flag. These two acts led to more than 2,000 cases and 1,000 convictions. One of the more famous examples was the case of Debs versus United States. In 1918, socialist and labor leader Eugene Debs gave a speech in Canton, Ohio, condemning the war. While he was careful with his wording, he was arrested for obstructing the draft. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Debs appealed, but the Supreme Court decided unanimously that the government indeed has more authority to restrict free speech during times of war. The Sedition Act was repealed in 1920, but several parts of the Espionage Act are still enforced. This is how the government could justify the internment of 110,000 Japanese Americans during World War II and the rise of McCarthyism in the 50s. Free speech advocates began winning some battles during the Vietnam War era. The Supreme Court allowed Georgia lawmaker and civil rights leader Julian Bond to keep his seat after he'd criticized the war. And in the New York Times versus United States, the Supreme Court decided that newspapers had the right to publish highly classified documents known as the Pentagon Papers. The horrors of 9/11 created enough fear among the general population to allow Congress to pass what's known as the Patriot Act. While it has been modified, the Patriot Act largely allowed the government to bypass certain protections to read business logs, healthcare records, and internet search history in the name of national security. So as you can see, while America labels itself as the land of the free, historically, times of war have also been times of great censorship. It's tricky to balance maintaining our constitutional right to free speech and criticism of our government with the need to maintain order and security. What do you think? Should freedom of speech be censored during times of war in the name of security, or should it remain unhindered? Exercise your freedom of speech in the comment section.